Alright, welcome back to Roguetech, and welcome back to your first playthrough. So, it's going to be another build episode today, but we're going to knock out both the Phoenix Hawk and the Assassin. So, right now, we have the Bushwhacker and Locust fully equipped, refit, ready to drop. The Hornet will be ready in 1 day. The Stealth, we're going to kick to the front, because as soon as it's done, it's ready to drop. The Firestarter has a lot more repairs to do. The Irby and Incubus are still going to need to be refit. I think the Irby has an engine core, but the Incubus is still going to need an engine core. So in 14 days we'll have the Stealth. But while we're working on the Stealth, I definitely want to drop on more missions as well. Kind of just keep the fatigue and the experience going on our Mechwarriors. So in 1 day we'll have the Hornet. And the goal, I think, is to have the Assassin just ready to drop, unimpressive, just a chunk of metal to take some damage for the other better mechs. And the Phoenix Hawk we're going to also put into a long build cycle. So I already sketched it out a little bit, took a minute so I don't have to edit it all afterwards. And this is the concise plan. Drop jump jets. Drop all the jump jets. And we're going to drop the case because we're going to upgrade from Pharaoh to Clan Pharaoh. This gives us automatic case, but since we have an XL engine, we don't want ammo in the side torsos because even if case prevents it from traveling to the center, it'll still destroy the mech. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to put the ammo in the arm, which I know sounds crazy, but we have the mask, and with the mask, if we put the ammo in the legs, the ammo could explode from the mask critting. And I know there's an argument to be made for, okay, well then just don't let the mask crit. But the idea, I think, is we're going to go fast, and we're going to try to just not get hit. Now, I could revamp this after, a little bit of playtest if the 70 armor on the arms just isn't adequate, and I would rather risk the crits to the leg from the mask, but we'll get there. In any case, we're going to drop the machine guns, because for the same 2 tons, we can actually use the machine gun array, which is just much more accurate, much higher crit chance, and the light machine gun tracer ammo, we're going to do the exact same thing. And that will allow us to... are we going to keep... You know what, we'll get there. We'll get to that final decision. In any case. So, with that now done, we then add our Indosteel, and that brings us to low enough tonnage that we should be able to click the max armor button and then finish it off because, yeah, the max armor button is sometimes a little wonky. Drop that like so to 61. And then we have 4 tons left over, 2 tons of which we're going to use on the Warfare Suite. So, the Warfare Suite will allow us to give all of our allies a shield of 1, while also getting a shield of 1 for the Phoenix Hawk, which currently doesn't have an ECM shield at all. And that leaves 2 tons left. So, 1 ton we're going to use on the small pulse laser, because the small pulse laser is, 1 ton, 6 heat, and highly accurate. So, the machine gun, extremely accurate. +1 evasion, ignore, +1 accuracy. Lots of crit chance and crazy accuracy and damage against battle armor and protomechs. Small pulse laser also gets crazy bonus accuracy and damage against battle armor and protomechs. So we basically have a protomech and battle armor killer here. And then we also have the high accuracy evasion, ignore of the large pulse laser. So altogether, the Phoenix Hawk is going to be able to basically hunt down and kill light mechs, super evasive targets, etc., etc. And then that last ton, we don't have the 3 slots to use another double. I was thinking of improving the cooling, because right now we're at a heat delta of 0, but you always have to remember whenever you're looking at the heat efficiency, if you have a weapon like the machine gun array that can fire more than what it defaults at, because it defaults at ×3, but you could fire it up to ×6, which will generate twice as much heat. So we'll be dealing with 18 heat per turn from alpha striking with the machine gun array, as compared to 9 heat per turn. Now, the jam chance and recoil is one reason to not do that, but I would still rather it be cold enough that we could if we opted to. Also, the AMS, if it activates... Oh, no, that's right. Yeah. The Lance mode, it's only 1 heat per activation, so it's kind of negligible. Like, if it's activating multiple times per round, it will probably jam before it actually fires more than once or twice. You know, if it's in Lance mode. So that leaves us with a ton. And we have the ammo for the laser, or for the machine guns. We have the ammo for the AMS. So, what could we use the ton on if not a... We don't even have a double heatsink if we wanted to. And the engine core is not big enough to actually run an additional engine heatsink. So we just can't improve the cooling any. Oh, also, no, not that. This is where we're going to use the fire control standard for, clan fire control standard for the +1 gunnery, so that, A, our base hit chance is better, and also the unjam chance on the AMS and machine gun array, and their jam chance is lower, their unjam chance is 10% higher because of that. So I feel like that's a very useful place to put the fire control standard clan. But yeah, we don't have an engine heatsink. We don't have a heatsink, a double heatsink to put in. So, I mean, we don't have the slots for machine gun and a half bin of machine gun ammo. We do have this machine gun quick sell with, half a ton with the ammo built in. We already have ammo in the arm anyway, so the main disadvantage of the ammo being in the location of the weapon doesn't really matter. Like, if the ammo's gonna explode, the ammo's gonna explode. And then we have half a ton and heat problems. Yeah, so our heat delta is 4 if the AMS doesn't fire any, and if the machine gun array is only at ×3. That said, we do have the ability to just not shoot everything if we're running hot, which is always viable. It's not, you don't have to keep your mech running with a, negative heat delta. You can run with a positive heat delta and either just only shoot everything when you have a really good shot you just don't want to pass up, or shoot everything, take a turn to cool down a little bit, then shoot everything again. Both are completely viable. Both work quite well. Dropping a medium laser to a small laser would give us a ton, but again, we don't have an engine heat sink available internal. We don't have the ability to add another internal engine heatsink, that's what I'm trying to say. And we don't have the slots nor the double heatsink to put an external heatsink. So, is there more AMS ammo in the shop? Because that might be an interesting option. Because then we can move the ammo to the legs without any concern at all about the mask, because, it can't crit if it's not in the mech. So we would be able to run more AMS ammo to keep protecting longer. Again, the unjam chance is higher and the jam chance for the AMS is lower since we're running the fire control clan. I really do like the mask ability to get behind people though, because the Phoenix Hawk by default is not the fastest mech, it's only 6'9". So the mask gives us 6'12". Which, again, if we're running a whole lot of machine guns and high accuracy stuff, like getting behind a light mech and then shooting it with this Alpha Strike would be absolutely devastating. So I really want to run it like this, at least just to see how it goes. Just to see if it's, to see if it's as viable and strong as I expect it to be, and as I hope it is. Case is not compatible with Clan Pharaoh. If I had Clan Case 2... to put in this Clan Pharaoh, I think I would. Because then I could put the Clan Case 2 in the side torso. Case 2 reduces ammo explosion to a flat, small amount. So we would be able to stack up all the ammo in the side torso with the Case 2, And even if it does get crit and ammo explode, it doesn't destroy much of anything at all. It just does a little bit of damage, which is cool. And then that would also allow us, well, I mean, we would need one more slot, but in any case, we don't have we don't have clan 2 case, case 2 clan. We don't have it. Ideally, oh, actually, wait, hold on. We have an XL engine. Do we have a slightly bigger core? No, 270 is the biggest core we have. Okay. Real quick, before I commit to anything. Let's look in the store. And see if there's anything that piques our interest. Bolt-on incendiary rockets is actually interesting. Especially, like, super early game. Because that's 30 heat if all 15 rockets hit. Or, you know, close to 30 heat if most of them hit. And then an extra 2 heat for 2 turns. So if an enemy is running single heat sinks, that basically overheats them for 3 turns from one bolt-on weapon. Respectable. I mean, honestly, yeah, I think I'm actually just gonna buy it. Straight out, I'm just gonna buy it. Because I think we're gonna put that on the assassin. Because it should be pretty quick to add a bolt-on weapon, and it just gives it a little bit more that it can do other than just soak damage. Anyway, so here we have, no, not the 460, 275 core. 10.75 versus the 270 that I believe is 10.25? Something like that? I glanced whenever I was leaving the mech bay. So that would be half a ton minus the XL engine reduction. But that would use some of the tonnage, which then would mean it wouldn't actually help us much. Like, it would only ever come into play in those weird rounding situations that to maybe get us 1 extra hex. And it would be a 1.1 million C-bill investment here. Then we'd have to install it for however much. So yeah, no, I don't think that's viable. Yeah, if there was like a half bin of AMS ammo, or full bin even of AMS ammo, I would totally do that, but we don't. The Bushwhacker, we do have the AMS and it with the high explosive ammo, but that's, I don't really want to mix high explosive and regular. Like, the Bushwhacker's AMS is going to be really good for intercepting bigger missiles, whereas the Phoenix Hawk's AMS is more for just, like, you know, LRMs mostly. So I think we're just gonna do that. Do exactly what I said the first time around. I think we're just exactly going to do that. But yeah, this is part of the reason I'm not super fond of Phoenix Hawks, honestly, is the fact that everything is in, like, all the weapons are in the arms. All of them. Not to mention, if we lose an arm, and the ammo's in the arm, and it doesn't explode from the arm being destroyed, then we don't have to worry about the ammo exploding anymore, because the arm's gone. Yeah, let's put the large pulse laser in the side torso. Put the small pulse laser in the arm. And that way, if we do end up... Well, regardless, we can keep the left side away from the enemies. And worst case scenario, if the right arm does blow from an ammo explosion, all we lose is a medium laser, a small pulse laser, and AM. You know what? Heck, why not? Switch around even more. Not small laser, small pulse laser. Boom. There we go. So now we have nothing valuable on the right side at all. This is a shield side, even though it has stuff in it, including ammo that could explode. Worst case scenario, the ammo explodes and finishes off the right arm. So, yeah, this is a mech that we can absolutely soak damage on the right, use mask even past fail chance to try to get good angles and stuff. We're gonna try it. We're gonna try it and see how it does. We can always rebuild it a bit later, and now that we've already maxed all the armor, that's what most of the 18 days is we're we're spending a lot of time upgrading the armor. But yeah, we're gonna do that, I think, and in 18 days, we will have a very interesting Phoenix Hawk to use. But again, I'm gonna bump that up to just under the Hornet, because I want to get the Hornet finished, and I want to try to keep the work on the Assassin to like 2 days max. And how much time? It would take an extra day to replace the SRM 2 with an SRM 4. I don't think the extra 2 missiles are worth the day. Because again, we're specifically just throwing this together to have something to drop. Bolt-on rockets. Actually takes a day. How about now? SRM 4 still takes another... Wow, I did not expect the bolt-on rockets to take a day. Let's actually look at that. This is worth discussing. This is absolutely worth discussing. So the Urban Mech, in 10 days, the Urban Mech actually has respectable armor. Like, the armor values of the Urban Mech that we built were respectable. Same with the Incubus. Same even with the Firestarter. Like, all 3 of these mechs, their armor values are better than the Assassins. Even the ones that are lighter than the Assassin by 10 tons. Like, this is awful armor. And that's why I specifically at the start of this playthrough was like, yeah, no, this is the project mech. Because of all of the mechs we started with, this one was the least effective. But now that I'm looking at, like, even if all we did was drop jump jets, just ignoring the fact that it's basically just a medium laser at this point. But if all we did was drop jump jets and max armor, like, maxing armor is 10 days. I don't think the Assassin is worth cobbling together. I could add a band of SRM ammo, and I think we could actually get all the armor values up to the nearest 5 without spending any days on it. We can increase the armor a bit without taking it. Okay. So, here's the idea. No case, no armor really, that's just asking to explode, but we don't have any other energy hardpoints to use. So if we wanted to max the armor in the 3 days that we had, we would need to drop 1 jump jet. Actually, does the SRM 6 and the SRM 4 take the same amount of time to mount? No. We actually save time by putting in an SRM 4 instead of the SRM 2. I mean, SRM 6. So we can get more armor, which is, again, primarily what this thing is there for, is just to soak damage. So 100% the left side would be a shield side. We would just keep the left side towards the enemies, and once the left side gets blown up, just punch out. And maybe even scrap it after the battle, honestly. Because I'm not seeing, like... The hard points are not great. The 280 core is nice for its tonnage. Like, 710 is very respectable movement. So, this would give us a mech to drop in 3 days. And then, if we had a chance here and there later, we could go back and upgrade it a bit more. Once we're done actually, like, making other stuff. But obviously, if it gets completely mangled, we very well could just scrap it and just build the other stuff. Yeah, armor takes a lot of time to improve. That's an interesting idea. So putting the Duralast Quick Cell in gives us 5% damage reduction. And we could just drop a couple jump jets and then put as much armor as we can in 3 days. And then that armor that we put on in 3 days is more effective a bit because of the minus 5% damage reduction. So the 5% damage reduction will reduce, for example, LRMs from 5 damage to 4. Which very, very much multiplies the survivability of this thing. I mean, I don't like it as a mech. I like it as a fodder unit to just kind of throw in. I mean, we still have a jump capacity of 6. So we can still jump for 6 hexes. And that is what this mech is there for. It's not there to deal damage. It's there to soak shots and hopefully not die from it. Shield Sight can still hit the center torso, so I think I would do that. 65 on the right torso, 50 on the leg that has ammo in it, and then just keep the left side towards enemy. And then we're going to bump that to the top. And that's just going to be a fodder unit we drop specifically to soak shots away from the Hornet and the Locust and the Bushwhacker. Alright, so that means in 4 days' time we will be ready to drop. We're also going to look in the barracks real quick. So we got some people that have a little bit of experience, but not a ton. That's fine. We already looked in the store. Didn't see anything particularly noteworthy in the store. I mean, except for the handheld weapons that we can't carry because they're way, way too heavy. So yeah, I think we just wait the 4 days, which actually Training Module 3 will be up in 3 days, so that's cool too. Alright. We have 1 more day on Hellion, 1 more day on the Hornet. Currently to drop, we have the Assassin, Locust, and Bushwhacker, as well as the 2 vehicles. Yeah, things are looking good. We still have 18 days left in the Extravagant Financial Report. So we're getting work done. We are slowly but surely improving our mercenary company and the mechs that we're dropping on the missions. It is a bit much that we're trying to build like 3 brand new chassis while also upgrading the starting chassis. But again, there's no race to get everything built. You can take your time with it. As long as you have stuff to drop that is good enough to be able to actually complete the missions you're dropping on, it doesn't matter how much other stuff you're working on and what you're doing to it. And yeah, we are going to wait the 1 more day for the Hornet, just because, again, this Assassin is just fodder. Like, I think the 20-tonners are actually just better mechs than the Assassin. No, the Assassin does have more armor and structure. Okay. And it has the 5% damage reduction from the Duralast Quick Cell. So, I stand corrected. The Assassin is actually at least better than the Hornet. It has more armor, and it has actually better weapons too, huh? 40 damage there, 65 damage there, and 80 damage total. Versus the Assassin, which does 60 with its SRMs, and 20, yeah, so it's literally, even though it's a 40-tonner, it's just slightly better than the Hornet that we haven't really done anything to. That's hilarious. It's actually also faster. That's just too funny to me. That's just too funny to me. Our 40-tonner is a glorified 20-tonner, basically. Like, it's on par with, it is an average between the Locust and Hornet's mobility, and an average between their damage and weaponry and versatility and everything. That's just too funny. But yeah, we basically have our Bushwhacker and three light mechs. That's great. But that's enough. That's all we really need to start dropping on some of these one skull missions. And actually, target acquisition wouldn't be a terrible idea with a bunch of fast mechs. Like, as long as we were able to successfully activate the starting points, and as long as we were able to get the Bushwhacker to the evac point before, like, the kill team dropped, and then just punch everyone else out if necessary, that is viable. I mean, especially since, that's right, the Assassin does have the voice in its cockpit, so we would lose the cockpit voice if we had to punch it out. But the other two, there's literally no downside other than having to repair and replace the head, which is quite cheap and quick. So yeah, if we end up having to eject the Locust and Hunter, that's fine. That is completely fine. Oh, also engineering. I forgot. Yeah, we finished training modules. Okay, you know what? Looking at the recording time, I'm going to save this discussion and the discussion of which mission we're going to drop on until tomorrow. For now, that's been your episode of Roguetech for the day. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, have a good one.